Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Multi-Voice Entertainment. I am the Multi-Voice Reviewer. I have many voices, but one opinion. And today, I got a sci-fi franchise for me to review to tell you folks. Now, when I think of a sci-fi hero, what pops into your head? No, not Flash Gordon. I already did that. I'm talking about the very first sci-fi superhero. No, I already did Buck Rogers. Come on. This one is British. I already did that too. What I'm talking about is, of course, Dan Dare. Now, for those of you who don't know who Dan Dare is, well, he was the first science fiction British character, started all the way back in the 70s. Well, maybe not the 70s, but probably the 60s. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, around the 30s and 40s. He's like a British version of Buck Rogers. Or to you Brits, they would say that he's more like Beagles from space. And for those of you who don't know who Beagles is, Beagles was he was this fighter pilot during World War II, and he's supposed to be like this heroic, handsome, dashing fighter pilot who battles against the Germans during World War II. So Dan Dare is like Beagles, except in the future from space. Now, his first appearance came from the Eagle comics, and that's where her story started, where it's supposed to take place in the year 1996. Oh yes, I remember 1996, the one when they first made the Doctor Who TV movie. And of course, and throughout the story, he has a group of other pilots who is with him, and the creator himself decided to have a female character who is a doctor, a female pilot who is also a doctor, but there is an old man who always keeps complaining about her being in charge since she knows how to work a spacecraft and knows how to operate any kind of machinery. And he always kept thinking, she's a girl, she'll just jeopardize the mission. Being very old fashioned and sexist at the time. And of course, their first mission they went to Venus. And they kept finding these blue skinned people with big lumps on their forehead. And turns out that they were once Earthlings who landed on Venus but never came back, so they all sort of evolved into these blue-skinned characters, which Dandel disguises and try to convince them to fight against their evil tyrant, who is also a green alien, and, well, of course his name escapes me, but this green character, he was like the arch nemesis, he's like the Ming the Merciless in a way, except one thing you should know about him, he's very short, he's on a levitated chair, and he has a big head but a small body. So I guess he's one of those little big heads. And then throughout the entire series of the comics, it was the first time that the people starts making friends with people from the aliens from Venus and of course Mars and of course all the other planet throughout the comic book history. Now, if you want to get a graphic novel of the entire story of Dan Dare, this is what the graphic novel you guys should get. And of course, around the 90s, when the British made a brand new comic book series called 2000 AD, that's where the famous Judge Dredd first appeared. A little known fact, did you know that Judge Dredd was British? I sure as heck didn't. I mean, if they were more faithful in the movie, at least I don't even think that Sylvester Stallone can pull off a British accent. I mean, he'll be more like, I am the law. You're under arrest. I am the law. The law. And of course, another thing that's very different is that, unlike that Judge Dredd movie, Sylvester Stallone removes his helmet, reveal his face, which not many people know. In the comics, though, in the comics, they did ask Judge Dredd to remove his helmet, and he had a huge sensor bar right in front of his face. So we never know what he looks like under that helmet. But enough about Judge Dredd. 2000 AD also revived Dan Dare, so now they made Dan Dare go through a very serious and sort of dark adventure, and his arch nemesis is still the same character from his old series. And they still kept exploring and fighting, and Dan Dare trying to get some of his old recruits back and everything. But of course, that's for the 2000 AD version of Dan Dare, which it looks like this. Now, Dan Dare got really popular that even back in the 50s, there was a audio series about him, which sadly some of the episodes were lost. There was only a few of them they found, but the rest of the episodes was completely lost. But here's a little thing about the audio series. And believe it or not, around the 90s, they created a live action on air pilot of Dan Dare. And I've seen the pilot. Sadly, I don't have a picture to show you guys. So my advice to you is go to YouTube, type down Dan Dare, and you can find the live action pilot. I mean, the special effects is a little but it was entertaining nonetheless. And I recognize most of the actors in that show. But one thing I thought it was very interesting, they made a CGI 3D animated series of Dan Dare, and here's what the series looked like. Which I'm pretty impressed. I mean, if I'm able to create a 3D animation, I can make my own series instead of audio dramas. It would be a lot more fun. And then all of a sudden, they finally decided to get Dan Dare back in the comics. And thanks. Now, when they brought it back in Britain, the company who revived Dan Dare, their company was called Virgin Comics. Now, some of you may not know the Virgin logo, but it was the same company that, I mean, there was a store called Virgin where they sell CDs and musics and all the techno stuff. But now but now they, I think they kind of ran a business in America, but they're still going in Britain, and they revived Dan Dare, and when they brought it into America, Dynamite Entertainment got the right. First, Dynamite Entertainment owns Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, and now Dan Dare. But I don't think it's ready for Dan Dare to cross over with those two. Besides, I have my own work to think of. But here's what the comic book look like now. And of course, another thing I also heard that some people do remember Dan Dare from the comics, and of course, some of them have heard the old 50s audio series. So they're thinking about making a brand new audio drama series of Dan Dare, and here's what it looks like. And that is my review of Dan Dare for today. For those of you who likes this review of Dan Dare, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe. And for those of you who are wondering about my other things, well, here's one thing I think you should know. For those of you who saw my last review, my last video where I talked about my crossover between Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers, since I kind of show people who is doing the voice of Flash Gordon, And for those of you who wants to know who's doing the voice of Flash Gordon since I'm doing Buck Rogers, well, here's a picture to show you. That's right, folks. Jericho Kane is, he's playing Flash Gordon while I'm playing Buck Rogers. Ever since I asked him if he wants to play Flash Gordon, he said he would love to. So, pretty much, it's going to be him being Flash Gordon and me as Buck Rogers. And of course, another thing I kept finding, when I went to Walmart and I saw that they were selling some Marvel comics, I saw a Marvel comic, which sadly I can't show you folks because it's in storage, but this is a comic book that I found at Walmart. Since when Marvel owns a famous Japanese superhero, and I found another first issue of another one right here. So now, I mean, not only that I heard that Disney have owned Marvel and Star Wars, and also 20th Century Fox, but now they're owning the Japanese superhero Ultraman. Does that mean that Ultraman's going to be part of the MCU? I don't think so, because we got Shang-Chi coming up, and the last thing we need is to have Ultraman involved in the MCU. But anyway, I'm the multi-voice reviewer. I remember it so I can jog your memory. See you later, guys. Hold it right there, multi-voice. Master Chief, what are you doing here? There's one thing I want you to do for me. Why? What? I mean, I can't play Halo. I cannot afford an Xbox. And if I do afford an Xbox, I'm going to be spending all my money for all the Halo games. And I can't play all the Halo games because I may not have enough time to review all of them. So what exactly are you wanting me to review? I understand you cannot review Halo or play the games because you can't afford an Xbox. But there's one thing you've been enjoying that is a spin-off of Halo that I want you to review. You don't mean... Yes, I want you to review Red versus Blue. Well, since I cannot review Halo, at least I can review something else. Stay tuned, folks. My next review, I'm going to review Red versus Blue. You know, I really like that show. So, what the hell?